There is a mystery that circles the twin flame journey, one that many feel but struggle to explain. It lives in the silence, in the distance, in the delays and detours. It lives in the questions. Why does he run? Why does he push me away if he loves me? Why does it feel real when we're together, but confusing when we're apart? These questions pierce deep into the heart of the divine feminine. They echo in her soul when she senses the love, but doesn't see it acted out. When she feels the bond, yet hears nothing. When she remembers every moment as sacred, but watches him forget or pretend it didn't mean anything. It seems like he's faking it, like he's pretending not to care. But what if I told you he's not? What if I told you he can't fake love, even if he tries? This journey is not about surface appearances. It's not about words alone or actions that seem confusing. The twin flame connection is a spiritual bond. It's energetic, emotional, and sacred. And the divine masculine, no matter how unconscious, resistant, or afraid, cannot fake what the soul knows to be true. Even in his silence, even in his absence, the truth of love pulses through him like a quiet drumbeat. Let us explore and understand why the divine masculine soul simply cannot fake love, even if his mind tries to cover it up. Every human being is born with a soul blueprint, a spiritual memory that stretches far beyond this lifetime. When twin flames meet, that blueprint is activated. It doesn't matter what logic says, what fears arise, or what the world believes. Something ancient is remembered. The soul recognizes the other, not through eyes, but through frequency. This recognition cannot be undone. It cannot be erased. And most importantly, it cannot be faked. The divine masculine, though he may not always be conscious of it, feels this recognition. It lives under the surface of his thoughts. It visits him in dreams. It lingers in his heart even when he tries to move on. He may try to reason it away, dismiss it as fantasy, or drown it in distraction, but the truth remains. The soul knows what it knows. This is why, no matter how hard he may try to distance himself, there is always a pull. He can pretend, he can push, he can even run, but he cannot replace what you awakened in him. That kind of love isn't a choice, it's a remembrance. And remembrance doesn't vanish just because it feels inconvenient. This inner conflict is one of the reasons why he may seem hot and cold. His soul says yes, while his ego screams no. His heart leans in, while his wounds pull back. This duality doesn't mean the love is fake. It means the truth is bigger than what he knows how to handle. When you begin to understand this, you stop taking the silence so personally. You stop thinking it means he doesn't care, and you begin to see the sacred war within him, the one between his truth and his fear. That war is not a rejection of you. It's a journey he must walk so he can one day choose truth without hesitation. The divine masculine essence is deeply rooted in authenticity, even if it takes time for him to express it. He may not always know how to name his feelings. He may avoid vulnerability, but when it comes to love, he can't sustain anything that isn't real. That is the quiet power of his energy. He may struggle to say what he feels, but he won't pretend to feel something that isn't true. This is why you will often find that he pulls away when things get intense. Not because the love is gone, but because it's too real. He doesn't know how to meet it yet. He doesn't want to fake a response, so instead, he creates space. That space, though painful, is not a reflection of his indifference. It's a reflection of how deeply he values truth, even when he doesn't understand it. This also means he won't engage in surface-level connections the same way others might. Even if he tries to distract himself with someone else, it doesn't last. There's a difference between attachment and connection. He might chase comfort, routine, or validation, but he cannot fake bond. He cannot recreate the sacred energy you shared. And over time, he realizes that nothing else fits. His resistance, then, is not a sign that he is playing games. It is the mark of a soul who refuses to pretend, who refuses to say I love you if he's not ready to embody it. This may not be comforting to the heart that wants closeness now, but it is something to honor, because what he gives you, when it is ready, will be real. It will be whole. It will be true. And for that, it is worth waiting. Unlike the feminine energy, which tends to feel and express emotions more readily, the masculine heart takes longer to unfold. It is often guarded by logic, past wounds, and unspoken fears. It builds walls before it builds bridges. But make no mistake, when that heart opens, it opens with full presence. And it does not open to just anyone. The divine masculine cannot fake this kind of openness. He might show affection to others, he might be polite or even caring. But true intimacy, true soul-level vulnerability is something he reserves, something sacred. It doesn't show up easily, and it doesn't spread wide. It is selective, and it is intentional, even if it's unconscious. This is why so many feminines feel confused. They remember moments of deep connection, eye contact that spoke volumes, silence that felt sacred, touches that carried 1,000 emotions. Then suddenly, he disappears. Walls go back up. Coldness replaces warmth. It feels like betrayal. But it's not that he was faking those moments. It's that those moments scared him. He wasn't pretending to care. He was overwhelmed by how deeply he did. And that's the thing. The divine masculine doesn't take that depth lightly. If it was surface level, he'd have stayed. But because it was sacred, he backed away to figure out if he could rise to meet it. This doesn't mean he'll stay away forever. In fact, once he has done his work, once he has faced himself, peeled back his defenses and accepted what he feels, he will return. And when he does, it won't be with performance. It won't be with masks. It will be with truth. Because that is the only way his soul knows how to love. It is so tempting to believe that if someone pulls away, they don't care. But love, true, soul-level love, is not always soft. Sometimes it's chaotic. Sometimes it triggers everything we've been avoiding. And for the divine masculine, this triggering can feel unbearable. He may go quiet, disappear, act aloof. But this detachment is not the absence of love. It is the weight of it. Love stirs things in him he cannot control. It brings up pain he thought he had buried. It challenges who he thought he was supposed to be. That pressure doesn't always show as emotion. It often shows as distance. But beneath that distance, he is unraveling. He is processing. He is being pulled into transformation, even if he doesn't understand it. When someone is truly indifferent, they move on easily. They don't overthink. They don't avoid. They don't get emotional. The fact that he's reacting at all, even by running, is proof that the connection matters. If it didn't, he wouldn't feel the need to escape it. His detachment is not him forgetting you. It's him confronting himself. So when he tries to fake being fine, know that it is only surface deep. When he pretends the connection didn't matter, know that his soul is still haunted by it. He may say it meant nothing, but his heart is still talking to you in dreams. He may pretend you're just a memory, but his energy still reaches for you in silence. Love this real does not die. It doesn't disappear. It transforms, and the first thing it transforms is the person carrying it. The divine masculine may not always express his love in the ways you hope. He may not offer words or gestures or reassurance, but the absence of words is not the absence of emotion. In fact, silence often says what words cannot. His silence is not always a rejection. Sometimes it is reverence. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is confusion. But almost always it is movement, a quiet, inner movement that cannot yet be explained. The more powerful the connection, the more intense the silence. This is not because love is lacking. It's because love is too much for the current version of him to carry. Silence becomes his cocoon. It is where he digests what he cannot say. It is where he rewrites the parts of himself that aren't ready to meet your light. If he could fake love, he would have stayed and performed. He would have given empty promises. He would have pretended to feel what he doesn't. But the divine masculine, whether he knows it or not, honors this love too deeply to fake it. That is why he goes quiet. Not to abandon you, but to avoid corrupting the connection with half-truths. You are not forgotten in that silence. You are remembered, held, reflected upon. And one day, when he is ready, the silence will give birth to something real, something spoken from the soul, not the ego. Until then, let the silence teach you to listen differently, not with your ears, but with your heart. There comes a point on the divine masculine's journey when nothing false can survive anymore. At first, he may still try to follow old patterns. He might distract himself with other people. He might throw himself into work, family, or responsibilities. He might try to convince himself that this connection was just a passing moment, just another experience. But inside, something doesn't sit right. No matter how much effort he puts into pretending, he can't fully settle into the life he's built if it's not rooted in truth. It's not something anyone else forces. It's not caused by pressure or guilt. This turning point rises quietly from within him. The soul begins to speak louder than the noise of the world. He starts to feel the weight of choices that don't match who he really is. The people around him might think he's doing well. They might praise his stability or success. But deep inside, he knows what he's avoiding. He knows what he's not facing. That's the thing about real love. It doesn't settle for appearances. It doesn't want empty words or shallow gestures. It wants honesty. It wants to be embodied. The twin flame connection pushes both souls into alignment. But for the divine masculine, this means he can no longer ignore the gap between who he is and who he's meant to become. It means that showing up half-heartedly is no longer enough. So he withdraws. Not because the love is gone, but because it's too real to fake. He understands, even if only on a soul level, that if he's going to return, it has to be from a place of truth. Not as someone who is lost and confused, but as someone who has found the courage to face himself. This takes time. It takes energy. It takes breaking down the masks he's worn for years and standing in his vulnerability. He's not just preparing to tell you he loves you. He's preparing to live in a way that proves it, even when no one is watching. That means addressing his wounds, facing his fears, and learning how to be emotionally honest. It means releasing the need to impress others and instead choosing to honor what his soul already knows. This process isn't always graceful. He may fall back into avoidance. He may get frustrated. But slowly, the need for integrity becomes stronger than the fear of change. He can no longer deny what's real. He can no longer keep living out a version of himself that doesn't feel whole. And when he finally decides to walk in truth, he does it not to earn love, but to become love, to embody it, to live it without hiding. That's when he can meet you not as a man who needs rescuing, but as a soul who is ready to walk beside you, with his heart open, his truth clear, and his spirit steady. And that moment, however long it takes, is always worth the wait. Because when it happens, it's not a performance. It's real. The divine masculine may not always be able to speak what he feels. He might go quiet. He might avoid eye contact. He might even act like nothing ever happened. But that doesn't mean he doesn't feel anything. It just means he's still learning how to face what's inside him. You see, love of this kind touches parts of him he's kept hidden for a long time. It brings up everything he thought he could control or bury. So instead of stepping toward it, he steps back because he doesn't yet know how to carry something so sacred. That doesn't mean he's forgotten. It means he's overwhelmed. Even when he walks away, something stays with him. He hears your voice in his silence. He remembers your presence in moments of stillness. He may not know what to do with those feelings yet, but they live in him. They shape him. They slowly change how he sees everything. This journey is not about convincing him. It's not about chasing, begging, or waiting in pain. It's about returning to yourself, standing in your own light, loving from a place of truth and self-respect, not from need. When you do that, you create space for him to meet you without pressure. You become an example of love that doesn't demand. It just is. He isn't faking his love. He's fighting with the fear that comes with it. He's struggling to let go of the stories that tell him he's not enough, that love will hurt, that being vulnerable means being weak. And until he unlearns those things, he may keep his distance, not out of cruelty, but out of confusion. But no matter how far he goes, the bond remains. It lives in the background of his life, quiet but constant. And eventually, the silence will end. The running will stop. Not because you forced it, but because he finally allowed himself to stop running from himself. And when that happens, he won't return to you as someone lost. He will return as someone found. Found in truth. Found in love. Found in the place where his soul was always leading him. That's the power of sacred connection. It doesn't fade when ignored. It doesn't die when denied. It waits, it transforms, and in the end, it always finds its way, without force, without fear, and without needing to be faked.